Now, looking at that number, we also know that in 2022, the entire year 2022, subsidy cost Nigeria about 4.39 trillion naira, which is about $10 billion. If in 2022 we spent 4.3 trillion naira on subsidy, why are we spending 3.6 trillion naira on subsidy in 2023? Or, half year 2023? That's one question. Again, what do we know? We know that in 16 years, fuel subsidy has cost Nigeria as a country over 13 trillion naira. Is this the way to go? Should we continue like this? For many years now, successive governments have talked about removing subsidy. Recall that in 2012, the Jonathan administration had made attempts to remove the fuel subsidy. Nigerians protested. Those in power today, the APC and Labour led a protest to revolt against the removal of subsidy. The Buhari administration came and promised some way to remove subsidy and called subsidy a scam, but was unable to do it. The Tinubu administration has come in. On inauguration day, the president points out that subsidy was only made, there was only allocation made for half the year 2023 in the budget, and as such, subsidy is gone. Even though the subsidy that was paid on the products should last till the end of June, the NNPC has come out to say they have stock that should last till the end of June, which would mean that subsidy has been paid on those products. Now, those who have bought these products and have them in their reservoirs and tanks, and the retailers, that's talking about the fuel stations now, and the petroleum marketers downstream, have bought these products, stored them up, and at the moment, after that pronunciation by the president, or that pronouncement by the president, they started to lock up stores and lock up shop, and increase or hoard the products. And some of them increase in the price, going up to 700 naira in some cases and 600 naira per liter in some other cases. This is the situation at hand. My guest this morning would help us understand why it is necessary for us to do away with subsidy and what it is that we need to do to cushion the effect of the removal of the subsidy. Good morning, Mr. Showumi. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you. Good morning.
Thank you so much. Let's get to the conversation. I'd love to start by asking, what was your initial reaction when you heard, the president's statement on fuel subsidy? He had said, well, that the fuel subsidy can no longer be sustained, and the such subsidy is gone. What was your initial reaction when you heard that, and what the reaction that followed the market afterwards?
Well, I think first of all, there's no need for us to bury our head in the sand. If follow the election, I think all of the candidates spoke to the fact that they will be for removal of fuel subsidy. The second part of it is that the Petroleum Industry Act, which is the act that runs the industry today, does not make for provision of the fuel subsidy. So basically, the part of fuel subsidy has been a pre-implementation of the Petroleum Industry Act. That's what the basis for the subsidy. But having said that, the fact that you were expecting an earthquake does not mean when the earthquake happens, it doesn't come with shock. It doesn't come with the issues that are associated with it. What has happened after that is not necessarily directly related to the president or the governance, but it just speaks to lawlessness and the tendency to commit crime without consequences in the nation. So, as you had mentioned in your pre-analysis, the fact that the current fuel that they are selling today, the subsidy has been paid on it. So those who are selling it at 600, at 700, are actually performing an illegal act within the regulation that governs the subsidy space. So responsibility on government. There's a responsibility on the regulators to even ensure that there's law and order. Because irrespective of whether subsidy goes or not, as long as people are lawless, we are going to have fundamental economic issues. As long as people commit crime, they break the law, they violate regulations, and there are no consequences to it, we're going to have issues. I mean, and it's not just about going to shut off one or two stations in Abuja. Who is going to go to Portisco? Who is going to go to Benin? Who is going to go to Lafayette? I mean, I'm talking about the nooks and crannies of this country where people actually perpetuate illegality. So those are the responsibilities for government, because even after they get all the funds that come with, that come with the removal of subsidy, without law and order, they still won't be able to achieve the economic progress goals that they are aspiring to. So those are things to note in terms of what happens between employers.
Yeah, so let's ask. Let me get to understand this. So first of all, fuel subsidy is being removed, and we're saying that would mean that we're deregulating the downstream sector, right? But as it stands, NNPC is the sole importer of PMS. NNPC is yet to issue licenses for people to be able to import fuel. So what we're doing now, does it make sense that we're removing subsidy at a time when the market isn't even completely deregulated? If NNPC holds the monopoly of importing the products, what is the point in removing fuel subsidy? Again, people would say we don't have functional refineries, so why are we not looking in that direction to say, okay, let's have at least modular refineries to cushion the effect of the removal of subsidy. So when these modular refineries are operational, they're able to supply at least, the states within which they operate with PMS, and even other states. That should, to a large extent, create a bit of competition. But in this case, if NNPC is the sole importer, there's no competition in the market. The Dangote refinery, which many administrations or this administration will be banking on, isn't even functional yet. So what does this leave Nigerians?
Okay, I think there is a bit of misunderstanding in terms of the structure of the market is. As of today, there is a regulator. So we have gone past the days where NNPC was both regulator and player. So if there are licenses to be issued for importation, it's not going to come from NNPC, it's going to come from the midstream, downstream regulatory authority. So you can see there's a new sheriff in town. So that's where the focus should be. In terms of that doesn't necessarily mean the powers of NNPC has waned overnight. No, they still have a lot of a lot of power, but the license is not going to come from them. It's going to come from the authority. Now, in terms of the deregulation proper and all that, those are conversations that we need to have, and those are things that need to be thrown in there. You raise valid points in terms of that. If there's a proper deregulation, and if subsidy is the final tip in the arrow in terms of the regulation proper, then why are we not having all the fine print of the regulation taking place? So that's a question for the president to answer. But more importantly, it should be understood that all leaders, whether it be those who attempted to win election and not win, and those who actually won the election, they have made their decisions based on statistics and data that were provided to them by those in the industry. So it is incumbent upon them to have alternative ways to verify the information put to them. Because whenever you have from one source, what you have is an opinion, and there are always chances, possibilities, and probabilities that you have information. So it is incumbent upon them that really that they provide. That they provide the right. They get the right information for making these kind of decisions. As to whether the refinery in place before the regulation, or there should be, as in before the removal of subsidy, or that the removal of subsidy will lead to more funds to build the refineries, is a chicken and egg situation. That's a judgment call. So it is the person who is saddled with the responsibility of leadership, who is ruling, that will be able to say that should the chicken come first or should the egg come first. That's a judgment call in terms of which is better. What is most important is that the lifestyle of people is stabilized and inflation, the hardship that comes with inflation and increase in transportation costs can be mitigated. Those are the kind of things that government needs to look at, such that the effects, overall effects in terms of society, in terms of how we function, can significantly be mitigated, and then we can have opportunity for any evil development. That will be my submission on the matter.
Okay, now let's quickly talk about the powers of the regulatory authority. Help us understand this. The Nigeria Midstream Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, I've heard many people calling on them to say, sanction filling stations that are selling above the pump price, sanction filling stations that are holding the products and all. But listening to the what's it called now, the director of the authority, he's just made subtle calls on the retailers to abide by what exists, the status quo, and go back to selling at official rates. He hasn't made any solid threats. Now that begs to ask, does the authority have the legal backing or the legal powers to sanction these filling stations and petroleum marketers as it is?
They do based on the law, but I think we're mixing up two issues. So there's a difference between law enforcement and the ability to sanction. So I'll give you a simple example. The court has the ability to sanction. They can pass a judgment that this person should go in jail, but the court are not the ones to enforce that sanction. They are not the ones to enforce the law. So there are law enforcement authorities, which in this case, you're talking about the police, civil defense, the military, and all that. They can sanction, but there's a difference between sanctioning and enforcing, or being able to investigate and actually determine that somebody is wrong. And that's why I gave examples earlier to the fact that Nigeria is such a big place. We have 774 local governments scattered everywhere. How do we have the structure and the capacity to actually monitor all these places and ensure that law and order takes places in those places? That is really the issue. The issue is not about the powers and the authority to sanction. The issue is about enforcing it and ensuring that what has been said is done. And it needs to also be clear that some part of that role in terms of enforcement is not the responsibility. Criminal activities is the responsibility of normal law enforcement, so it's the responsibility of the police. I mean, if you break the law, even if it's a health law, it's not the Ministry of Health that will come and arrest you. It's still a police. If you steal electricity, and it's not the Electricity Regulatory Commission that will sanction you, it's still the police that will arrest. So there are issues that speak to fundamental lawlessness, which means that the way we which we our governance and the focus and the structure for which people who break laws can get away with without consequence need to change. And it is all those things that will lead to a change in culture and change in perspective so that people can do what is right. So it is one thing for them to be sanctioned. It's another thing for the sanction to be enforced. And there are consequences for wrong behavior. So those are the separate issues on the matter.
Interesting. We'll continue this conversation. But before I let you go, I understand you're quite busy this morning. What do you think that the federal government should have done to cushion the effects of subsidy removal, looking at the fact that many Nigerians bank on this, and the fact that food inflation and other factors would go up, the prices of other commodities would go up, as we know, with the current situation that we found ourselves, where people have to buy fuel and queue for hours and buy fuel for over 400 naira per liter?
Yeah, I'm not. These are macroeconomic issues, and I'm hardly an expert in that area. But one thing I can say is that if you look at the structure of how things affect us in terms of how it brings inflation, one of the areas is food, like you said, and what is called on transportation. So government has to look for a way of looking at the transportation infrastructure and mitigate whatever damages the subsidy removal can cause there, so that can also mitigate and reduce the effect of inflation on the people. I think transportation is a major way they need to look for a way to find a solution. And with that, there can be some kind of normalcy and less inflation, and then people can lead a normal life. That's my take, but that's hardly an expert view. That's just my observation.
Quite understood. I know I said I was going to ask that before I let you go, but then let's also talk about the fact that we have the NMDPRA and people calling on them to do all of these things. However, the petroleum marketers themselves seem to be hedging, their businesses and hedging their funds, considering the fact that when they go back to buy these products, they probably will be buying at a different rate at the end of June. So maybe show up some revenue to be able to afford the new prices when they go back to buy the products. What do you make of that argument that, they have to protect their businesses so they don't run out of loss at the end of the day?
Well, that can be logical, but it's against the regulation on which they buy, because what they are buying now is subsidized. So they're buying in a free market. So if it's a free market where everything is just running, yes, it can make a lot of sense. But when it's subsidized, there are regulations and there are laws concerning the subsidy. So you cannot enjoy a product that is subsidized and unilaterally become a law unto yourself and then change the rules of that. That's lawlessness. That's what I say. It's not a valid argument. It's not a valid argument at all.
Well said. Thank you so much, Mr. Olabode Showumi. Thank you so much for talking with us this morning. I'll have to let you go now. Thank you again. Mr. Olabode Showumi is an oil and gas expert. For many decades, he understands the terrain. And thank you so much again for talking with us.
Thank you very much.
And the conversation continues. You can join in with your 2 cents. Call me on 09073530044 and 09087668888. That is 09073530044 and 09087668888. You can send SMS and WhatsApp messages to 09097054450. I would take your messages, but before then, let's listen to the director of the NMDPRA, rather the chief executive officer of DPRA, Engineer Farouk Ahmed, to speak to us. Let's hear what he has to say about this. After the declaration by President Tinubu.
The president this morning, the inauguration on subsidy removal on premium motor spirit is in tandem with the provision of the law, because the PIA provided that subsidy should be removed from last year, February, and luckily the National Assembly also provided the budgetary allocation for subsidy for 2022 up to now in 2023. Therefore, the removal pronounced by Mr. President is actually in line with the provision of the law. And the good thing about it is that actually that NMPC, that is the supplier of last resort, has been struggling. And for NMPC to survive, this action is actually necessary and as urgently as possible. And now we are going to be engaging with NMPC to ensure that there is continuous flow of petroleum products, especially premium motor spirit in the country, to prevent any shortfall in the country. Now, we've noticed a few queues especially in FCT and other parts of the country. And this is just panic buying, maybe as a reaction to the pronouncement by Mr. President. I think I'm calling all and sundry to take it easy, and everything should be okay, because the law has taken its course, and we're going to, as regulators, ensure that the consumers are not taken advantage of. We're going to be working with the other agency, the Consumer Protection Agency, to ensure that we abide by the provision of the law. Thank you. We're also calling on all the marketing companies, especially the big ones, the Moman, Dapman, Independent, Ipman, to please continue opening up their petrol stations, and there should not be any hoarding, because the regulator also is going to look after that to ensure that the public are taken care of.
All right, so that's the Chief Executive Officer of the NMDPRA there speaking and saying, well, they would swing to action to ensure that the average Nigerian isn't taken advantage of. But have we seen that action in the last 48 hours? Doubt that. But the conversation continues here. How's the experience been for you? What has it been like for you? And what are your thoughts on the subsidy removal? Now, it would be clear, it would be good for us to state that going by the PIA, that's the Petroleum Industry Act, if this administration continues to pay subsidy, it would be acting. It would be illegal. It would be an illegal act to continue to pay for subsidy when the act says that 6 months after the implementation of the PIA, subsidies should be completely gone. Now, that would mean that the Buhari administration had acted illegally by also making provision for, subsidy even in the 2022 budget and 2023 budget, considering the fact that subsidy should have been gone by February of 2022. That's aside. I'd love to really know how it has been for you and what do you make of the subsidy removal. In 2012, when the Jonathan administration made moves to remove subsidy, Nigerians protested. And I'm glad to know that, that Nigerians seem to have come of age now and have understood that subsidy is some high level corruption, whatever, scam that as it has been described by the former president and many others, and that needs to go. With the fact that we've welcomed this, a lot of Nigerians have welcomed this. Labour is, on the other hand, saying, look, we can't do this like this now. It's too early. It's too sudden. Why not engage with us, engage other Nigerians? But some of the critics will say, look, no time is the right time. This should have been done a long time ago. And it's good that it's done. It's good that it's done once and for all. Let Nigerians be able to manage themselves. Let Nigerians be able to get used to the fact that subsidy is gone, and let it be gone for good. Now, these monies should be reallocated to other things. Let's use these monies to do other things and ensure that. But then, on the other hand, there's a trust deficit. Can Nigerians trust that the monies used to pay subsidy over time can be used to develop other things that would benefit them and not benefit a few others who may have taken the wealth or the commonwealth of Nigerians from those who have been enjoying it on account of subsidy and putting it in their own pockets? Can Nigerians be able to trust the government at this time? This is a new administration, and well, many Nigerians will be calling on this administration to do right by them. All right, do right by Nigerians, build the confidence of Nigerians by acting. Let Nigerians be able to see that truly, if subsidy is removed or subsidy is gone, they feel the impact in other areas of their lives. All right. As it is, there seems to be no buffers to cushion the effect of subsidy removal. $800 million was borrowed from the World Bank on account of subsidy removal that was going to see the federal government disburse 5,000 or 7,000 naira to about 50 million Nigerians, according to the calculation of the government at the time. Would that have saved Nigerians? Will this administration go on with that, or will they, put that money in something else that would really benefit Nigerians? As some Nigerians have criticized that initial plan by the Buhari administration to just give these monies to Nigerians who they refer to as poor of the poor. Will that be what the Tinubu administration would go ahead to do, or will they use the monies to provide other means, maybe transportation, fix some levels of transportation across the states, or even find maybe the energy sector to put that money in to be able to benefit Nigerians? What do you hope to see? Join the conversation. I'd love to get your thoughts now. The numbers to call 090-7353-0044 and 090-8766-8888. Hello, good morning. All right, lost that one. Try to call back, please. I'd love to get your thoughts. Seems like the network did you in there. Or maybe I delayed to take your call. 090-7353-0044, 090-8766-8888. I'll be taking your thoughts right after this.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
From Milky Way to Earth, everywhere there's internet, you can connect with Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. Log on to our website www.eaglesfm.com. Follow and engage with us now on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok at Eagles FM Abuja, Instagram at Eagles FM 1023. Download our apps on your Android and iOS stores. Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja, your radio experience you can count on.
Has anyone told you you can talk about your business on radio for just 15,000 naira? Get a chance to talk your business for 25 minutes on The Entrepreneur. Mondays to Fridays, 3 p.m. on Eagles 102.3 FM Abuja. For more inquiries, call 090-9984-4433. 090-9984-4433. The Entrepreneur. Talk your business for just 15,000 naira. Hurry now.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
All right, thank you so much for staying with us. This is Eagles Outlook on your radio experience you can count on. We're looking at the fuel subsidy situation in the country. We're taking your thoughts now. Thank you for joining in. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Prince Henacho.
Good morning to you. Welcome.
Thank you. This is Comrade Aaron from Kuje.
Good to have you, comrade.
Yeah, thank you. Prince Henacho.
Yes, sir.
I think sincerely speaking, most of us, or let me speak on myself, let me not generalize it. We know how much we are spending on subsidizing the fuel. But the question I want to ask, what's the plan on ground? You don't just come and make that kind of pronouncement on air and say subsidy is gone, and you did not expatiate. Maybe by saying, okay, subsidy is gone, but these are our plans on ground, so that Nigerians can absorb the shock. Because right from that moment he made that statement, that is when panic buying begins. Today, a friend of mine called me from Lagos that he has been running around, he's in mainland to buy fuel now. There is no fuel. He has called another place that told him most of the filling stations have shut down. So just look at the kind of crisis we are passing through. The question I want to ask this government, they should have made inquiry on what is wrong with our refinery. How much can we invest in this refinery to bring it back to life? And let's see how we can start producing our own fuel. At the end of the day, the cost of landing of fuel from abroad will be taken off. By then, subsidy will go. But going by this way, Nigerians are not finding it easy. Sincerely speaking, President Henacho.
Well,
thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Haruna. Appreciate you. My regards to your people. Hello, good morning. Okay, another dropped call there. You want to get your calls coming in 09073530044 and 09087668888. Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you. My name is
Good morning, Judy Anacho. Welcome.
Thank you so much. How are you doing?
I'm very well.
Well done, Joe.
Thank you.
President Anacho. It's right. The removal of subsidy has been so long overdue. But it's never late. It's better late than never. What is there is that the problem, many of Nigerians support the removal of subsidy. Understand? But the problem there is that the president on his inauguration day, he have not even assumed office at the Eagle Square. He just mentioned it, and being someone who knows Nigerians very well, and you know how Nigerians, they don't take any chance they don't want to mistakenly avoid it. The marketers just went into business immediately and started acting, and Nigerians have started suffering it. That is the problem. Just like the last caller said, a friend called me this morning from Anambra State that a liter of fuel, they are buying it now at a rate of 700 naira. That is even when you even got it, because so many people have to shut their own down. So many fuel stations. So what did the president, what did he put on ground before coming out to make such announcements? You know, I expected that we should have like one or two refineries functioning before we can be able to remove the subsidy. That could have helped enough. Now we are hearing that the refinery that is not working, people are there collecting salaries. For what? So what are we planning? How are we putting everything in place to make sure that all these things stop and Nigerians will enjoy it? It's good. Let us suffer it and suffer it once and for all. But my question is, let it not be that after suffering it, we are not going to see the reflectment of the subsidy that was removed. Nigerians are not going to see, it's not going to reflect in our economy. That is going to be the most painful part of it in Nigeria. Right. So if we can suffer it, at the end of the day, we'll see our refineries working, everything is moving accordingly the way it's supposed to be, and Nigerians are enjoying it. We don't have problem with that. So let's see how we go. I believe the president will be out there and working, knowing how to solve the issue and make sure that Nigerians do not complain anymore.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for talking with us. Really appreciate you calling in. Jude Ihanacho. Hello. Good morning. Good morning.
Ihanacho, good morning.
Good morning, Okechukwu. How are you today, sir?
I'm fine.
Welcome.
Can you see what we are passing through? This early morning I left my house around 3:30 just because of fuel. You see? People are shouting State Tagaban. When he was announcing that announcement that very day in Eagle Square, people are shouting, hey, hey! Both the people that voted PC, both the people that did not vote PC, all of us are in the queue now. All of us are facing the music. So that statement the president makes is, for me, he wasn't supposed to make it. If you come to NMPC now, there is no road. You go to everywhere, no road. You see? When we have been telling them that the way things are going in this country is not uncalled for, they say no. So, all the people that voted PC, people that did not vote PC, all of us are in the queue. So, I'm just telling the president, please, he should say because of those that voted for him and recall his statement. Because for me, I know I don't have any issue. I will only go to NMPC. I will still buy fuel.
Okay.
That is my own.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Bye-bye.
much. Thank you. Okay, Chuku there, where it starts. Appreciate you calling in, okay, Chuku. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Anato.
Welcome. What's your name, sir?
Yeah, my name is Ike. I'm calling from Kubwa.
Ike, good to have you.
Yeah, I want to quickly react. We all want fuel subsidy to be removed. But this time, I'm not going to blame the president. I just want to blame Nigeria. Statement, all of a sudden, as I'm talking to you, I'm in Erevano. They're selling 540. Those mentioning Anam brand and whatever. I'm in Abuja. 540 liters. So I don't know why we should just before within the hours of 12 hours things have changed. You made mention of it. It has not been implemented. So why the whole stress? I think the next thing the government should do now is to set up an emergency team that should go around the stations. They have made it known that they have fuel available. So why are the stations suddenly changing their prices and holding fuel? You see, so most of the time the problem is not even our government. It is us Nigerians. It's so pathetic. So the first subsidy, you mentioned this, but it has not been implemented. So why the stress? So please, my most suggestion is if they can set up emergency rapid squad that can go to stations and make sure that things come down to normal. Till when something happens.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, IK. And speaking of that, why has the NMDPRA not swung into action? This is the Federal Capital Territory, for instance. This is the FCT. This is Abuja, the capital of Nigeria. And even the capital of Nigeria, the NMDPRA hasn't been able to act. Then who's to say that in other parts of the country they're ever going to act? It's been over at least over 24 hours since the pronouncement was made, and the situation's changed. Good morning to you. Welcome.
Good morning.
Welcome. What's your name, sir?
Yeah. This is Balogun speaking.
Balogun, welcome. Let's hear you, please.
Yeah. So we have to be very objective in this country. Let's look at how this subsidy, started. You can see from other countries that is oily rich, like Kuwait. Kuwait has the strongest, currency in the whole world. Like Saudi Arabia now, who is the largest oil producing country, they are diverting from, this thing out to clean, oil. They are majorly investing in, electric this thing. What if this crude oil should dry up today? Or if the Western, this thing does deviate from, crude oil and change to clean oil, what will be left for Nigeria? Understand, let's look at how this subsidy scam started. This scam started right from Babangida regime. Babangida introduced this oil subsidy. Then, who brought Obasanjo into power? Is Babangida. So, Obasanjo now elaborated this, subsidy, this thing. Then, when Yar'Adua came, reduced the price of this thing. Does that mean subsidy was not, in Nigeria then? So when Jonathan came, who paved way for Jonathan? You see the same Obasanjo, which are in the same cabal. Anybody that wants to be a president must take homage to Babangida. So these are the things. Well, you people should not even think there's something that happened to Nigeria refinery. If Nigeria refinery are working perfectly. They are working perfectly.
How do you know that? How do you know that? Do you work there?
Nigeria refinery, okay, these are the questions we're supposed to be asking ourselves. How come the four refineries just stop working at once? These are deliberate acts. These things are deliberate. These people are cabal. That is why I say that anybody that wants to remove this subsidy, we have many people to step on. We have many tools to step on because these people, they are bigger than the president himself. Understand? So these are the things we're supposed to be looking at. Then who make up Dangote today? You see the same people, Obasanjo, Babangida, all those things. They were the ones that brought Dangote into businesses. that kill other people, that kill other business and pave way for Dangote. This subsidy of a thing is bigger than what we ordinary Nigeria are doing. Understand?
Okay.
So we know
Thank you very much, Balogun. Thank you very much, Balogun. Your conspiracy theory, we appreciate you for that. Don't we all just love the conspiracy theories? There are no facts to back these things up, but yeah, they're interesting. They're good enough for conversations at home, with your friends and colleagues, and in the streets. But on radio, may not be so welcome. But we love the conspiracy theories, though. We love them. We love to hear them. They make for interesting conversations, other aspects of the conversation. Now, someone just asked, what is fuel subsidy? Well, subsidy is so for fuel subsidy, let's try to break it down so that you can understand what's the easiest way to do this. So for instance, if the price of beans in the market is 500 naira, and government decides that, we want you to buy beans at a cheaper rate, so we're going to take a burden of some of the cost while you pay some. Okay, so that instead of you to buy beans at 500 naira now, when you go to the market for a measure, you probably would buy it at 200 naira or 250 naira. Now, the other 250 naira that you're not paying, someone is paying it, and that's the government's. That's what fuel subsidy is basically. So in this case, Nigeria exports. There's the what you call it now, the oil exchange regime. Let's not delve into that. But then what it really means is that Nigeria exports the quantity of PMS that would be enough to feed Nigerians or to supply Nigerians per day is shipped outside of Nigeria because we don't have functional refineries. When it is brought back, the cost of bringing it back and all of that till it lands at the filling stations, the federal government pays a part of it, so that the marketers can sell to you at a subsidized or cheaper rate. Do you understand it? And I think that's the easiest way I can explain that now. Let's bring in another caller. Hello, good morning.
Hello, Prince Hanacho, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Sunday, your number speaking.
Sunday, welcome.
Thank you. Me, I'm inside my own farm. So Nigeria is doing well. Given the sensitivity around fuel subsidy, I would say the president shouldn't have made a pronouncement towards that. Some people are suffering it already. Around my area, from Otaba, Levi, New Yanya, Maraba, there are long queue. So, given the sensitivity, government should have done something, either by fixing at least one of the refineries before making this pronouncement. To me, I see subsidy as one of the commonest things every Nigerian benefits from. If that is removed without providing a solution to it, we are going to suffer. Everything will suffer. We will suffer. Prices will go up, fuel will be up, commodities rise, everything will just go, and the common man cannot afford it. I pray, just like they are saying they have stepped up measures to contain the effect. I pray it comes to pass, because Nigeria is good. Nigerians leaders are good at promises.
Okay. Thank you very much, Sunday. Appreciate you calling in.